ban out the Sejuani, again targeting the jungle, and the final ban from CLG is more of those enchanters in the Yuumi.
You can really see the respect that Team Liquid are paying to Wiggily specifically. Banning out both of the Sejuani and the Sylas, and then first picking Jarvan as well for Xmithie. On 9-13, Jarvan got some very nice feel-goods buffs for the way that the EQ can come out. So it's a very, very popular, especially in pro pick, replacement now if Sejuani and Sylas are going to be permanently banned. We had another hover over, but don't get too excited. It is going to be the Elise lock-in for Wiggily. I have really been looking for the return of the AP junglers ever since the Runic Echoes got buffed. I thought that especially teams that are looking to run over early game, Elise should be more highly prized. Very curious to see if CLG can use that effectively and target the early game, because Elise does pair so well with super strong lane matchups. If they could get strong solo lane matchups and pair that with some dives from Wiggily trying to get aggressive early on, it could be CLG's way to try and take down these back-to-back-to-back defending champions in LCS royalty in Team Liquid.
Well, if that Tahm Kench goes bottom lane with Ezreal, this is the polar opposite of what we saw from the laning phase from CLG the first time these teams met. Caitlyn Lux shoves you into their turret, bombards you with projectiles the entire time, and makes your laning phase life hell. Ezreal and Tahm Kench say, yes, sir, we would like to purchase real estate underneath our own turret, and we will sit there until the day we die, which we probably never will because we're Ezreal Tahm Kench. It is a very passive lane. We'll see if that's what happens. The Lovers duo locked in for the side of TL, and as both sides have bottom laners and junglers, I'm looking for some solo bans here in the second half of the ban phase, as Aatrox is CLG's first pick to remove from the table.
Yeah, honestly, it's looking like a very standard setup here for Team Liquid. I would expect them to probably have similar solo laners to follow this through. Maybe the Azir gets targeted as well. CLG are going to ban away the Aatrox from Impact, which is used over and over. We'll see if they try and whittle down continually on that champion pool. The Gangplank still available, one of his most played as well. And certainly effective for trying to snowball the bottom lane like they usually do.
Corki banned out, Jace banned out, Aatrox banned out. The Impact Jace ban become one of those signature champs for him these days, ever since they wanted to start him getting away from that tank player reputation. CLG paying some respect towards that pick that he's put so much work in on. Impact becoming quite a carry player of his own, especially after his performances at MSI, where even when the team was struggling, he was one of the guys stepping up pretty consistently. Final ban for TL, and of the game here will be the Irelia, as it goes over to CLG's fourth pick.
All right, do we have any more Qiyana players? Because she gets through even the second round of bans here. And Assassins, I think, do go up in value if you have a safe bottom lane like Ezreal Tahm Kench, and an Elise pick is a super aggressive early jungler. That all signals play top side of the map early. So with Azir locked in, it's definitely not going to be, mid lane. Azir definitely scales super well towards mid lane. So I would think that CLG would want to pick an aggressive topside matchup and have that be the area that the Elise goes to, because both the other ones are looking like a little bit more safety for themselves. We'll see what the answers from Team Liquid are. CLG are saving counter pick for Ruin, so maybe they have something special in store. It is going to be the Akali lock-in for Team Liquid, which has usually been in the hands of Jensen, and that is the Gangplank that I mentioned earlier. Surprise, surprise.
Double carry solo laners from the side of Team Liquid, and not just that, double melee carry solo laners, which means not a lot of safety from these guys if they fall behind, and it also means that Xmithie's Jarvan is going to be the main front line there. Now, over for Ruin, what is going to be that top lane pick here? You already said the man's played 10 games and 9 different champions. That is quite a diverse selection of things to play. Could we see the Lucian top?
It's definitely been effectively used into Gangplank in the past, at least for a laning phase, to try and kill the Gangplank. Renekton, that's what I was looking for as far as, hey, bottom side of the map, not looking like great Elise territory to pull off some early game stuff. Renekton, that looks like prime Elise real estate. We'll see if they go for the early dives. Impact is definitely used to it, so this is going to be another test of his skills. Will this be the day that Ruin and Wiggily catch Captain Impact under the turrets, try and dive him early? because it's definitely possible. Renekton and Elise extremely good, especially early on, because Renekton, you can just power up your W to get the empowered W stun that allows Elise a free cocoon onto the target. You can basically chain CC your opponents, even if it is something like Gangplank with the oranges. You can wait them out, and there's enough burst damage there to early on get the kills and then reset tower aggro with the repel from Elise.
Team Liquid's composition feels so powerful if it gets ahead, with Akali and Gangplank able to just blow people up. But if they fall behind, having to deal with something like the ranged power of an Azir and an Ezreal that has the peeling potential of Tahm Kench right next to them could be very difficult. And honestly, Kobe, with both these teams' recent performances, with Team Liquid being the one team from NA that really found themselves plenty of wins at Rift Rivals, with CLG showing up and performing in a way that we haven't seen from this team in years, this should be a really exciting battle at the top of the standings.
Battle for first place. Who will take control of the LCS? Team Liquid or CLG? Let's get onto the Rift.
Those CLG chants are something that have been hushed for quite a while now, but it was quite an experience last weekend when they roared over the sound of TSM. Liquid fans, though, none to sleep at the wheel, as they're here to support their squad as well. We'll see CLG going towards the bottom side. Ward placed down by Team Liquid right before both squads rounded the corner.
That is one dead ward, immediately placed and killed off there as everybody runs headlong into each other. There's going to be a little bit of extra experience over there to a few CLG members. Bottom lane, it doesn't mean that much, but solo lane also was in range there.
Looking at keystones across the board here real quick, you do see the Electrocute over on Xmithie's Jarvan, shows more bursty early on as opposed to the Conqueror we sometimes see them take. Ruin has the Conqueror on the Renekton, so he scales a little bit better as opposed to the press the attack that normally just wins the lane harder. Electrocute for PoE is a more bursty style for the Azir. Everything else pretty much par for the course. Biofrost does have that Summoner Spellbook on Tahm Kench, so we've got to make sure we're on the lookout for him swapping that over to things like Teleport and Cleanse and other playmaking moves.
All right, let's see if Wiggily goes for some sort of early play on the top side. He could just start red here and then end on bottom half of the map. Elise definitely has quite a few options. Right now, we'll check on how Ruin actually plays the minion wave with Renekton. Looks like he's actually going to draw Impact back up to his area. This way, you get the range minions there. You could see them. He draws Impact up to this brush so that then,
Well, Impact getting the better of Ruin here at level 1, wisely setting up those barrels to get a quick chain on him.
Pay attention to the ranged minions is what I was going to try and point out there, as they add a lot to these early trades. See, currently helping out Ruin there. Also, nice use of the Conqueror thus far. Another good shot there by Impact. Gets the passive burn once again onto Ruin, and forcing him off the minion wave is so big. When Gangplank here, with 2 charges of the Corrupting Potion used early on for lane dominance, gets to push the Renekton off the minion wave. Now he can actually start to deny CS and gain so much extra control for the Team Liquid top side.
So much about laning against Gangplank like this comes down to the barrel timing minigame. Can you manage to pop them before he can detonate them? And topside, it was Impact over and over again, grabbing the explosions before Ruin could disarm the barrels. Taking a look back at mid lane, PowerOfEvil is going to control this lane early on. Range versus melee matchup. What do you expect? As Xmithie puts himself in position here in case Ruin goes forward, in case CLG is trying to set up some sort of a gank onto Impact. He's there for the counter gank, but CLG has no such plans right now.
Yeah, because you can see Impact was pushing the wave. The timing here works out. You call the jungler when your wave is about to get up to the enemy turret there, because he knows he's got no more Trinket Ward to rely on. And Elise wants to work with Renekton to try and get early game power. So a really good move there from Xmithie just to cover his top laner. Impact has done his job, in winning those early trades and forcing back the Renekton. Scuttlecraft
we all do it.
Pretty slippery, but he's got the smite left over. Ruin going so close. Chasing down Impact there, but he's able to right back off. No explosion on the barrel hits this time around, and there are no more charges left in the Corrupting Potion, so it's a little bit more risky.
Stixxay taking some damage in the bottom side. And yeah, Ruin went for that trade in the top side because he did have the level 4 over level 3 advantage because of all the minions colliding underneath the turret. but considering Impact only gets taken a little bit low and then heals up with the oranges and the grass, Gangplank has a lot of ways to stay healthy in this top side. PowerOfEvil will continue pushing up here in the mid lane as Ruin once again tries to get aggressive on this Renekton in the top side. That's what you want to see out of this champion. You want to see that pressure being applied to something that scales in the way that Gangplank does.
Seen this before.
Wiggily checking the brush here with the explosive Spiderling. Has to show himself because he doesn't want to allow the Gangplank the opportunity to get back.
Look at the minimap though, Jarvan's here.
It's going to be a 2 versus 2. CLG coming in, looking to find the damage, almost able to grab it. Wiggly's able to grab himself the first blood. Ruin gets himself away, but the turret's going to take him down. It is a 1-for-1, but critically, so many minions are going to die here with Impact still seeing black and white.
Yeah, and this is one of the moments where the jungler is like, yes, thank you very much. Xmithie now level 5 after getting all that solo experience, actually ahead of the solo laner. Bottom side, they're going for another trade. Keep your eyes on those feathers in the ground. The blade call for DoubleLift. Good turn around, but let's take another look at it. As I was talking about, Xmithie was heading right back up the lane. He knows this is going to be the target area. There's no other area on the map that CLG are going to go for. They almost get the complete burst there, but because they don't finish it off, Ruin's still under the turret. Flashes, dashes, too many turret shots. That small little judgment there where they don't quite have enough damage for the initial burst to finish it off before Wiggily goes for the repel means that Ruin is left with a tower aggro. And he's left with a tower aggro and an incomplete mission. So they still try and complete the mission. He stays under the turret, make sure they get the kill, and on the outside can't escape with his life. Meanwhile, Stixxay does get one stop on a CoreJJ.
CoreJJ stop, but DoubleLift gets back in time, and considering DoubleLift took TP, both marksmen actually with the TP, that means DoubleLift gets to come back to lane. BF sword in inventory, and this is one of the laning differences between Ezreal and other AD carries early on. Xayah comes back with BF sword. Ezreal has a few different mana items. Pretty big difference in combat power there, so DoubleLift will have an easy edge if CLG tries to go for big all-in style trades. Look to see Stixxay only poking with the Mystic shots for now.
Let's see if he'll throw one at CoreJJ, because I believe there's a ward over there. He's been able to stop his back this time around. Meanwhile, level 6s have come in for the mid laners. Teleport coming back on the bottom side. Biofrost still a nice little sidestep with his old lane partner there.
Biofrost once again gonna look for the tongue lash, and DoubleLift once again reads him like a book.
And notice all of DoubleLift's dodges have been up. He is dodging aggressively. Now this is one of the things where it is a bit of a mind game with dodges, and I always love to play this mind game of, are you going to switch your tendencies here? But CLG keep throwing bottom side, and DoubleLift keeps dodging up. It's a much more dangerous dodge to dodge upwards, but it also kind of shows the confidence that he has against these players that he's played against so often. And CoreJJ now back to lane. Xmithie also going to join the party.
Xmithie with level 6 here on the Jarvan. Biofrost knocked up into the air. Thickskin's going to protect him from any further damage coming in. Impact once again going to be the target here by CLG, but they cannot find the kill. And with the TP showing up from Jensen, TL can ward them away.
Yeah, Jensen, I think, got baited a little bit there, missing some stuff in the mid lane. Xmithie, they're trying to take Dragon while Jensen just teleported top. This could be disaster for Team Liquid. Biofrost heads over, but there's nobody else. Stixxay still under the turret. They don't call everyone.
PoE forced to flash away. Not only do TL grab their objective, they get a summoner spell from the enemy mid laner. Now it's Impact who again is targeted by the side of CLG. The damage comes through, the cocoon lands, and the auto attack seals the deal.
Mission successful this time around. CLG return, and this time they also get the turret plate for themselves. Thought bottom side might be a little bit overreaching, but Team Liquid are able to get the Ocean Drake. Stixxay was under turret, and Wiggily, of course, was top side.
Wiggily making those plays happen up there for Ruin, trying to get this guy ahead, play around that Renekton, keep Gangplank suppressed early on in the game. As now PowerOfEvil has to keep trying to farm up here. Jensen's going to take some damage there from the minion wave. PoE retreating on this Azir, as Xmithie keeps on farming up on the Jarvan. And remember, the name of the game when you have another jungler against Elise is Elise isn't quite going to get that same level 6 power spike as somebody else is. It's not like you have a new ability coming online. Let's take another look, though, at how Wiggily set things up in the top side.
All right, so they kind of bait with recalling here. They just walk out of vision, teleports back in. Impact thinking that, they've already ganked twice. There's no way that the Elise is still here. But Wiggily waited in the brush, and so they can, in fact, go all in. able to land the blue smite for the extra speed, and then saving the cocoon till the very end.
And bottom side now, it's going to be 2 versus 2. CoreJJ going underneath the turret. Stixxay not able to grab the damage with the True Shot Barrage means CoreJJ gets away. And Stixxay will lose his support. Biofrost down, 1 for 0 Team Liquid.
Yeah, it looked like they bursted Biofrost down before he's able to get off the thick skin activation there. Really nice use of crowd control from the Team Liquid duo. Now they've got alone time with the turret, a little bit of extra damage. You can see Wiggily on the wards in mid, but so can Team Liquid.
Alone time is plate time. Another one going into the pockets here of Team Liquid in only a moment, but they will be forced away before they can grab it. As Wiggily grabs the bottom side Scuttle Crab, Xmithie waiting here in the mid lane. Could turn into a 2 versus 2. Wiggily wisely not going to walk into that brush just yet, but now the face will check that objective here. As we're going to see Xmithie get himself away. Nice buffering of the EQ combo to get out of the cocoon, as Ruin finds himself a favorable trade onto Impact top side.
Yeah, Ruin goes for the Phage first for the extra move speed so he can chase down Impact, try and keep up, and go for those all-ins. Let's take another look at this, because this is what I thought was too much CC for Biofrost to be able to get off his thick skin in. CoreJJ, yeah, that flash from CoreJJ for the point blank. So good. He gives no time for him to react, and they 100% to 0 Biofrost within the CC duration. Amazing use there. Flashes in for the point blank, so there's no reaction. Biofrost cannot flash out of it, and it's right under turret. Very nicely pulled off there. And clean kill for the Team Liquid duo. But we are still in a game with gold advantage to CLG, a lot because of this top side jungle focus, and a little bit of CS advantage for PowerOfEvil in the mid lane as well.
And Impact, despite the fact that CLG's been putting so much focus on him into the top side, still doing all right, but it's going to be Shelly where the fights focus on next. CLG moving up, trying to stop Xmithie before he's able to secure this objective. They want it to lose patience. They want it to reset, and there it goes. Objective accomplished for CLG.
And this is because CLG sent all 5 members up to the top side of the map. You can see that comes at a cost. If you look at the mini-map right now, DoubleLift is able to run straight into this turret. He's going to get more turret plates. So yes, they do chase Team Liquid off of that Rift Herald, but sending everybody up there with nobody heading bottom, no teleport from Stixxay used, no Abyssal Voyage being level 1 for Biofrost, not very long range. This is going to cost them heavily, and DoubleLift will take the tax.
CLG giving away some more plate money to the carry of Team Liquid here in the bottom lane. DoubleLift up almost 30 CS compared to his lane opponent at this point. See if CLG can grab Shelly for themselves. They do have both solo laners and jungler here ready to go. Still committing to Shelly. That eyeball rocking again as Xmithie goes forward with the combo. Has to flash out over the wall to keep himself alive. As Shelly is stolen by Impact. He runs up, he grabs the eye. He's about to stamp out that spider, and Wiggly shut down.
Oh my goodness. That feels real bad for Wiggily, completely destroyed there. Impact gets it with the cannon barrage, and then they kill him afterwards. That is now gonna be a reversal of fate. This is a Team Liquid Rift Herald that will completely take out 2 turret plates in the mid lane there.
What a huge swing for the side of Team Liquid. These guys have got themselves so much from Impact playing well on a champion he is known for playing well on.
I mean, playing well with the cannon barrage, getting the last hit on...
He predicted it!
On Shelly with the smite being used there, I believe, is that is some next level calculations then.
Yep, I'm believing in the mental math here coming out from Impact, making the plays happen for Team Liquid, but whether or not it was perfect timing from him or a mistake from his opponent or both, here it goes again.
Yeah, all right, so Xmithie with a dangerous play goes in between 3, but Wiggily isn't able to get the cocoon on him, so Xmithie is able to get out. Yeah, and it's just an early smite. 6 HP, was that it?
Yep.
Woo! That is rough. Then Wiggily, there's nowhere for him to go. He can't repel onto anything on the top side except for Akali, and Akali is going to kill you either way, so he goes for the inside route. And it does give the money over to the Jarvan, which is probably the best place to give the money. But with how Team Liquid destroyed the bottom turret plates in exchange for all this Rift Herald stuff, and then still got the Rift Herald, that is just like winning both sides of the deal without any cost to themselves. And that is very hard to come back from if you're playing a team like Team Liquid. Now that they have this gold lead, they call Xmithie down to the bottom side to finish it up. And you know why they're going bottom side, Clayton? There's another dragon ready and waiting.
Another dragon ready and waiting, another plate ready and waiting with 5 seconds left before it would have fallen off. First turret going over to the side of TL. Man, that one mistake, that 6 HP error from Wiggily feels like it cost CLG so much, as Team Liquid will now go for that Drake here yet again. Wiggily paying another visit to the top half of the map. Ruin has the ability to knock this turret down pretty easily now, considering the plates are gone. And there goes Ruin. Here comes that Renekton ulti. He's going to be tanking up a lot of damage, though. Impact getting himself away. Ruin not finding the kill, nearly taken down. Stixxay makes a TP. Jensen going in after him. There comes the dunk, as CLG will now defend themselves against Team Liquid's counterattack. No dead people on either side.
Yep, everybody's going to call a draw after that one and get the recalls off. Ruin does have teleport. Maybe CLG are going to redouble their efforts on this top side. All of Team Liquid are heading up as well. Impact has teleport, so both top laners could get back if the fight does break out. Currently resetting to the bottom half of the map, though, after all the action dissipates.
That one was pretty wild. You could see CLG really wanting to get the dive, but Gangplank, now that he's got the extra health from Trinity Force, he's scaling up, he's got the grasp. The oranges do so much work in stopping those dives as well. It's getting harder and harder to make plays onto this guy. Even though he's 0-2-2, still has plenty of money just because he's Gangplank, only about 150 gold behind his opponent. He's feeling totally comfortable with it.
Definitely one of the classic champions for Team Liquid because of the because of the global ultimate there. He's also able to affect other plays without completely joining and fine being left alone. But right now, Xmithie's actually going to the bottom half, and there is a control ward for Impact. So it's a fairly dangerous spot for Ruin, but Xmithie is stopping and doing the Krugs first until they see the rest of the members of CLG. So maybe he's got some time to back off.
Well, someone who doesn't have a lot of time is going to be PowerOfEvil, who tries to get himself away in the mid lane and will succeed in doing so. DoubleLift goes for the flash to follow up, but will not be in range for the Blade Caller to get there in time. Two-shot barrage mid lane. Ooh, just barely grazes the side of Team Liquid as Ruin rotates over to help PoE clear that mid wave out.
Yeah, DoubleLift there, trying to go catch up and get the kill on a PoE, but a little bit too slow. No harm, no foul, I think, because it is going to be a full reset. CLG still searching for a little bit of a pass here towards mid lane. I think Team Liquid happy to get this reset off. If they can make a play with CoreJJ and Xmithie, Jensen's hovering over.
Jensen seeing if maybe there's a move to make here with this Akali. Xmithie going in. Wiggily and Stixxay targeting Xmithie. Going to be taken very low, though. Up into the air goes the spider, but where's she going to come back down? Has to flash over the wall. Jensen follows after with the ultimate. Stasis going to be used there. Wiggily very low, and he cannot be gobbled up in time. Stixxay and Biofrost try to escape as Jensen continues forward, having a flash out now. Xmithie's still going to be kept alive into the back line. Ruin looking to dive into him, but he's not going to have enough just yet. Rooted up, beaten down. DoubleLift makes sure of it, and Team Liquid find 2-0.
Ooh, very, very close there. Ruin actually roaming up to walk behind and cut them off, but CLG's not ready to... Oh, Xmithie!
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, definitely right on the money there for Stixxay. Does find the shot, but not enough damage behind it. Team Liquid immediately disperse into the 1-3-1 once again, as they've got Jensen almost at the top turret, trying to get some more objectives for themselves. And because there's double Ocean Drakes, Xmithie and the Jarvan is actually healing up very quickly, able to get the Scuttle Crab. So Team Liquid keep up the pressure on the map even after pulling out the victory in that team fight and not going back to base.
Team Liquid having they had the better early game. They're having the better mid game here so far, even though we've only been in it for a couple of minutes. Impact will continue applying pressure across the map, pushing that couple of waves up into the tier 2 turret. And let's take another look at how this big old fight went down.
All right, so Team Liquid are looking for the 4v3 opportunity. Xmithie gets chain CC'd and bursted down very low, but not low enough. Wiggily also has to flash out, and Jensen uses first part of Akali ultimate to go over the wall, second part with the execute damage to take down the kill. Then here's the roam from Ruin. Up behind Xmithie, he wanted to get the full burst, but the nice peeling there from Impact and CoreJJ keeps Xmithie alive, and nobody else from CLG acted at the same time as Ruin. So there was only threat from one direction, and it was the Renekton who got focused down. Nobody else was able to ward off the members of Team Liquid, so they come away unscathed. Able to push out the minion waves, then go for the resets, and they were also able to finish off that mid turret beforehand. So a lot of the map now in their hands. DoubleLift probably one of the richest in the game at the moment. 2 kills for himself, just over 200 CS as well, and wearing the red buff. This is all smiles as far as AD carry perspective. Doesn't have his flash though, because of the early play he tried to tower dive PowerOfEvil with.
Gotta respect it though. I like the aggressive plays. Gotta use that flash offensively sometimes. Wiggily off to the side here in the mid lane. See if maybe he can set up a trap, knowing he's on top of the control ward. Ooh, but the cocoon misses. That means CoreJJ will be kept perfectly safe. 19.5 minutes into this game means Baron's going to be coming online soon. And with the damage potential of these teams, a big team fight mistake could spell a big objective loss for either side. CLG still has quite a mountain to work up against here. 3,500 gold down. Team Liquid will be commanding a 3-0 Drake lead as well after they secure this mountain. Wiggily once again committing into the top side here, but doesn't look like they're going to find a whole lot from this as that Drake falls.
Are they going to force it now? Having the Dragon call go over to Team Liquid. CLG all now focusing up towards the Baron area. I think they just want to wait on that Scuttle Crab and get the extra vision around the Baron, because it's so difficult for them to actually set up versus Team Liquid. With all this extra money that's gone over to the Team Liquid side, CLG trying to play a lot more carefully now. And they do get the Scuttle Crab, which is very important. Vision that can't be removed around the objective that Team Liquid are going to try and use to draw them out.
And when you look at the map, you can see if it could be removed, Kobe, it would have been removed, because there are so many little blue dots all over this map. But the red dots are few and far between. You can see one control ward dropped by Wiggily on top of his current location. But the rest of it is just that Scuttle Crab, one ward there in the top part of the river, but that CLG map is mostly dark.
They do their part to try and make it dark for Team Liquid as well. Now that is one of the hopes here for CLG, is to try and take away enough vision that you force some face checks from Team Liquid. Thus far, it's very difficult to do though, because there's so many ways for them to get saved. But the Elise, as well as the Tahm Kench, do pose a couple of options here for CLG to try and catch Team Liquid off guard. Now that it's been in darkness for this long, they're actually starting it up. But Team Liquid have to get a bit antsy.
Xmithie is saying, all right, we got to go check this. Baron taking a half HP. CLG, there's no way you can continue this. It has to be disengaged as CoreJJ is going in, and now it's trouble for CLG. Jensen maintains aggro on the Baron, and that means CLG has done nothing but leash for their opponents. CoreJJ is going to be taken very low. He stays alive, only to be executed by Baron. But now will CLG find anything else? Jensen continues moving forward. A TP coming in now. CLG do not want to let their opponents get away with anymore, but do they even have a choice? I think they don't. CLG end up going 1-for-1 and lose the Baron.
Baron DPS must be respected. PoE stays in the pit there, takes a lot of damage on the Azir, and CoreJJ was already on the inside route up through their own jungle. Able to find it. Xmithie went this way, but CoreJJ goes up behind the Baron pit, looking for PoE's only escape position, and he once again is able to flash in, make the play onto Wiggily, and they catch the jungler. Even better of a kill for themselves. Then he also takes the same route back out though, and that one's gonna lead to Baron finishing the job there. Was able to get the execute and make it 1-for-1.
And Ruin's Renekton, I mean, he's sitting on a Black Cleaver, he's sitting on the pieces of a spear, but 1.5 items is not enough to run into the middle of 4 people and try to stop the Liquid exit there. So no way for CLG to find something on the back end, and Liquid now has 2.5 minutes to slam some objectives on this map. That was only the 3rd turret they've taken this game. Plenty of standing gold left to grab here for the side of TL, as Jensen will continue pushing into the top side. You've got Impact in the bottom. The other 3 members here in mid lane. Xmithie actually sort of bouncing back and forth between mid and top, making sure he's always got the opportunity to help either one of those. As Jensen will just keep applying the pressure here, checking the brush there with the 5-point strike, making sure nobody's going to be chilling out in that one, as Ruin will try to defend, but the turrets keep on falling.
Yep, CLG trying to find an opening here. They do have Tahm Kench almost to level 11. Once Biofrost gets another rank in the Abyssal Voyage, you get more distance, so Maybe they may take a side lane play and try and pick one of the split pushing members of Team Liquid off, because currently the Akali as well as the Gangplank just being unanswered. Jensen gets the turret on the top side. Impact on the bottom side has got the minions all the way up to the turret that are being dealt with by PowerOfEvil, but more damage to the structures here as Jensen just buffing up those cannon minions, takes almost 50% of the turret by themselves.
DoubleLift losing about 50% of his HP there, as well as Stixxay finds a couple of auto attacks onto him. CLG continues trying to defend here, but things are getting tougher and tougher, my friend. When you're down 8,000 gold, when another turret falls, when now all you've got left to defend is what's in your base, the map is rapidly shrinking here for the side of CLG. Not many plays to make except just try to weather this storm, hope that Liquid makes some sort of a mistake, but so far they're playing clean.
All right, mid lane, the next one to take some damage here. DoubleLift, CoreJJ move inside, they finish the turret. And even though CLG clump up, Team Liquid get the objective first, and they don't take any risks. There's a Cloud Drake now on the map for them to take as well. PowerOfEvil goes for the play on the Impact.
CLG is saying, all right, can we find something here? Wiggily wanted to move forward, finds the Cocoon, more damage coming through. There's a kill for the side of CLG, but it may just cost them their inhibitor in the top lane. TL take that one down with the remaining 4 members. They will disengage and escape.
All right, that means there will be some breathing room here. CLG lose 1 inhibitor on top side, and Cloud Drake is available, but Impact sacrifice definitely worth it for Team Liquid. The base has been cracked open. Inhibitor off top side means they can focus down on the other exposed inhibitor and just return with all of the money that they're able to spend on items here. You see, Impact is able to get an entire Stixxay gauge completed now for himself, plus some lethality to come in and back up the power behind these barrel explosions. Xmithie,
that was close.
Attempt at no cost there. You just blast cone over the wall, you can EQ right back out. You also have your flash, so not too risky, just going for a possible play there. Doesn't get the smite, and that is going to be Cloud Drake for CLG. There's not a lot of room for them to use it, not a lot of room to run around, but you know, 1 dragon better than nothing.
Nothing is about the options that CLG have right now. Stuck in their base, 2 inhibitors exposed, 1 of those already taken down. 3rd inhibitor turret still standing, but how much longer is Team Liquid going to tolerate that? You have to wonder, as not only do they have the Stixxay gauge on Impact, they've got the stone plate up on the Jarvan, meaning the front line is beefier than ever. CoreJJ has been making engages so far for the team, and CLG has just not found any similar capabilities. Look at the engage potential of CLG. Renekton has a short-range dash, more of like a skip or a jump towards you that doesn't do a whole lot. Can't really close distance with that. Elise Cocoon hits 1 person. PowerOfEvil could go for a big shuffle, but that's about it. And somehow I don't think Biofrost has enough licks to get to the center of the liquid pop, so there's no way to really engage on a team like TL that's 8,000 gold ahead. And now they've got to try to defend this mid lane inhibitor, and it's just not in the cards.
All right, I got a question for you then. What is at the center of a liquid pop? Captain Flowers?
Well, here in about a few minutes, it's going to look like a blown-up CLG Nexus as CLG is finding their health bars poked down here yet again, forced off their own objectives. CoreJJ going to take ever so slight amount of damage there as PoE tries to summon enough soldiers to keep these guys away. Team Liquid just waits for the next minion wave. They don't have a Baron. They don't need it. It will be spawning in 15 seconds if they decide to double back for that here soon. They would like to at least get this mid lane in hit first, provide some extra pressure onto the CLG base.
That's 2.
And now they'll back away. Now it's saying, okay, Baron's up. We can go get this. Their base is going to be flooded with minions. This is easy. Jensen split pushing in the bottom lane. He has TP to join if he needs to.
And you can see how much respect Team Liquid are giving to the damage output of the level 16 Azir. PowerOfEvil, you mentioned him trying to be the one to get to the center of this Team Liquid problem. That is their hope. He is the level 16 carry for this team. He's got his Nashor's Tooth. They're attempting to steal the Baron.
Yep, not going to happen today. DoubleLift's able to secure that one. As Wiggily gets himself away with a repel, Jensen takes down Stixxay in a 1v3, shuffled back by the Emperor's Divide. Will he actually fall? Biofrost walking in over the wall. Jensen goes down. It's a 1 for 2 though, as CLG have also lost their jungler. Double is very far forward, but he's able to just bait CLG in. They don't have the damage just yet. Double's gonna be taken low, taken down. Team Liquid are winning the rampaging through their lines. One man stands on the side of TL. Xmithie will try to get away. He buffers through the stun, but Ruin will follow. He needs a little bit more to chase this Jarvan down. The slow will stop him. There's the stun. There's the damage. Baron is gone. Ace CLG.
All right, Ruin is the hope for CLG then, Captain Flowers. He is able to get 4 kills for the side of CLG. DoubleLift, a little bit too brazenly, walks right up to the face of the crocodile, and Ruin takes the fight. Spear of Sojin. He pops his ultimate, he gets the empowered W, immediately taking down DoubleLift, and with the rest of the members right around him, a lot of AoE damage from Renekton goes off as well. Really underestimate. Yeah, there you can see the first empowered W get through. He's going to have another second empowered W there. Take down Impact as well. And then he gets to chase up the weaker members, having taken down the 2 carries. As you know, Xmithie chase over the wall is able to finally find him as well. So Ruin there holding on at the last moment for CLG. They get to defend the remnants of their base.
A Crocodile's courageous team fight keeps these guys alive for a little bit longer. Still got to defend 2 downed lanes of inhibitors. You only have 1 Nexus turret left. Thankfully for them, top lane inhib now respawns. Only the 1 wave now going to be spawning with super minions. PowerOfEvil continuing to scale up on that Azir. Stopwatch is broken though, so if they find a way onto him, Team Liquid can explode the Emperor very quickly. Team Liquid has to be scratching their heads a little bit over how they let themselves fall into that trap, especially after being so respectful and playing so carefully like you were talking about earlier.
I can clear it up for you.
Okay, clear it up for me, buddy.
Again, DoubleLift walks face first into the crocodile. Crocodiles are dangerous. They will bite you.
Okay, I feel like this is a lesson that should have been learned a while ago, but maybe somebody wasn't paying attention in biology class. We'll have to check DoubleLift's transcripts at some point. But DoubleLift and the rest of Team Liquid are still in a very good spot here for themselves, as Ruin will keep farming up here in the bottom side. That Croc has a lot more in his pocket now, too. Randuin's Omen completed. He's got the Jarm's Fist working on the next item, probably a Stixxay Gauge to be even tankier, survive that burst even better there on the front line. 1.5 minutes until the 3rd inhibitor respawns. And Team Liquid just haven't found the opportunity to push forward any further. Losing that Baron meant all that push power they had is no longer on the table, and considering you now have to respect CLG so much more because of all the money in the pocket of the top laner, it's just not going to happen yet.
It definitely was a huge stall here for CLG. Now they're cresting the 31-minute mark. This has given them new life in the game. Inhibitor on the top side has respawned, and they are very happy to see another Ocean Drake respawn. The difference between Team Liquid with 2 Ocean Drakes and 3 is negligible. In these end game team fights, it almost means nothing. So with the mid inhibitor respawning in 45 seconds, that last heroic play there from Ruin really did give them new hope. Team Liquid, though, are coming to crush that hope. They've gone back to purchase. There is a QSS now on DoubleLift. His flash still not back up, nor is it on Jensen or CoreJJ, so they have limited options, but they still have an overwhelming advantage in these teamfights if they pull them off correctly. They need CoreJJ and Xmithie to get their initiation. They can't afford any more mistakes, lest this game go out of their hands.
Rabadon's death cap completed on PowerOfEvil brings his AP up to a current grand total of 454. And he'll be able to put plenty of damage down with those Sand Soldiers in the team fights as long as he doesn't get popped first. Inhibitors now all back up. Team Liquid has no natural advantage in terms of pushing from the minions any longer, but they'll force themselves into the enemy base now with just the normal minion waves they have. 1/4 HP remaining on that last remaining tier 3 turret. CoreJJ will walk up and slap the mid lane inhibitor, but won't get much else. You can see PowerOfEvil trying to defend the top side against Impact's Gangplank as well. Yumu's Ghostblade completed on him. He's even more disengaged and chase down Power with that active. Jensen continuing to push up here in the bottom side, has DoubleLift right next to him. Team Liquid would love to ruin this last remaining inhibitor turret. We'll see if CLG can stop it. Ruin on the front line, eating a little bit of damage. Turret gonna be taken very low, taken down. CC landing onto Ruin, who will still be alive, not going to be fully engaged on just yet. That's a pretty tanky member of CLG to be starting off on. Team Liquid don't want to make that mistake here. Impact still in the top side as well. Inhibitors all up, but inhibitors all exposed is still a very, very risky situation for the side of Counter Logic Gaming. The Abyssal Voyage is showing up into the top side. It's Impact who's in some trouble. Gonna be taken low, kept alive by the Xayah Gauge. As the damage comes down, he's gonna be taken down, but now the counterattack is coming through. Wiggly's kept alive, but only for a moment. Biofrost gonna be taken low next. Xmithie into the middle of the fight. DoubleLift trying to kite away from Ruin, who turns right back around. It's double kill over to the Emperor of Shurima. And PowerOfEvil makes sure it's an even fight, 2 for 2.
And CLG try and make the attack right when Team Liquid are backing off to set up for the Baron. 2v2. The jungler killed for CLG, though. They don't have a smite left. I think that is Team Liquid with the objective victory in the aftermath. And that is what they were waiting for. They need the Baron empowered minions to be able to get past the onslaught here of the Azir wave clear and the Ezreal Qs coming out. Here's another look at it. CLG were trying to catch Impact while he was split pushing here. Impact kites down to the bottom side, flashes over the Azir wall, tries to survive as long as possible, and takes Wiggily down to 50% there. Critically, Jensen goes right for Wiggily. He knows they have to kill the enemy jungler. Baron on the table, and that was the main objective. Ruin does get in. He trades as DoubleLift is able to kill him with the Blade Collar on the way out. Once that goes through, he knows the Baron is forfeit, and Team Liquid will come once again to attempt to finish the game. Now they've got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left of this Baron buff, and they want to put it to use, finishing up the game.
Ruin looking for the flank here onto Team Liquid as they push up the mid lane. CLG know they can't just allow Team Liquid to slowly push up and choke them away from the inhibitors. They don't want to slowly bleed out like that. They have to make some sort of a stand here. Zombie ward there means that Ruin will be spotted out. Blast Cone no longer available, as that had been removed by Ruin to make sure TL couldn't use it.
Yeah, suspicious.
Yeah.
This Blast Cone
Where did that plant go?
Spontaneously combusted.
How strange. Top side, nobody gonna be doing a lot just yet. Jensen's getting the wave ready, pushing that up into the base. Clearing out the ward from that top side lane brush as well. We'll see if CLG go for anything else with Biofrost's Abyssal Voyage. The Sun Disc falls in the mid lane. Team Liquid taking their time with this one. They don't want to make any more of those big mistakes that led to the last pop-off from CLG. Ruin rotating bottom side to deal with Xmithie now. Jensen still going to be providing that 1-3-1 pressure there in the top lane. PowerOfEvil shows up and summons up some soldiers.
Keep your eyes on the supports.
Or keep your eyes on the top side or everywhere. It's about to go off. PowerOfEvil getting himself away from Jensen, who goes into the smoke. DoubleLift grabbing the kill onto Wiggily first and foremost. Jensen buys time with the stasis. Ruin on the front line. Red inhibitor goes down. Ruin going to be tanking up all day long. Biofrost gobbles him away, but still going to be in some trouble. Stixxay's chased down by DoubleLift, who goes deep into enemy territory. Has double kill over to him. And that is the game. Ruin the last man standing, the only man standing. And despite CLG's best efforts, Liquid will remain at #1.
Team Liquid remain supreme in the LCS. They stand alone at the top, first place once again.
And I've got to give credit to the guys making the plays on the side of Team Liquid, the initiators, Xmithie and CoreJJ. We were comparing the junglers going into this, talking about how Wiggily has really brought CLG to the point that they're at, but Xmithie's been a staple for so long, and this kind of a game shows why Xmithie has been a staple for so long. He was the engage, he made things happen, he was exactly where he needed to be for the team. His early stopwatch was on point to buy time. Xmithie did what needed to be done, and although Wiggily, I like what he was going for, trying to play around topside, getting Ruin ahead, it was just so well absorbed by Impact, it couldn't give CLG the lead they needed.
Yeah, Impact once again standing strong in the top lane. They know this game so well. Him trying to absorb pressure on the Gangplank pick. Able to use the oranges to get out of a lot of sticky situations. The ultimate very effective, and that allows for their bottom lane success. DoubleLift and CoreJJ once again, huge advantage on the bottom side. They got so many plates, so much money. DoubleLift was very fed heading into that mid game, and it just added so much damage to their fight.
And I think that's such a big difference between this game and the first time these two teams played as well. The bottom lane difference for CLG. Biofrost looks a lot better when he's on these mage-type supports, when CLG is trying to oppress the bottom lane. The Tahm Kench, aside from that one Abyssal Voyage, I didn't see a whole lot out of it compared to CoreJJ, who's making these initiations on Rakan, starting things off, even helping them get the 2v2 kill in bottom underneath the turret. There was just so much more presence from Team Liquid's support.
Yeah, I mean, the game plan for CLG was coming out of Champion Select. We look at it, obviously going to be focusing on the top side, that Renekton and Elise. That had to be the name of the game, and it wasn't powerful enough. They weren't able to pull off the dives cleanly enough and get enough an advantage to actually win the game through that top lane opening. So Team Liquid, once again, take their toll through those mid-game team fights, objective control, and take their spot at the top.
A little bit of a trip up there in the mid game. What we saw with the team fight, DoubleLift going forward, flashing a little bit aggressively, thought that maybe he could have a big play to end everything. Ruin turns that around, and I got to give credit to Ruin and for CLG for keeping a cool head, staying in a spot where they were almost able to mount a comeback like that, but really it just came down to that 2-for-2 in the top lane that looked like an even fight until Liquid gets another Baron from it. And you just can't afford to have your opponents get those kind of wins from what looks so close. But now we're going to send things down to Riv, who's ready for an interview with the triumphant bot laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by DoubleLift after their victory over Counter Logic Gaming. Right back in first place. Nothing new like riding a bike. I got to ask you, CLG did take down TSM. Were you guys sweating it all coming into the match today?
Yeah, we thought CLG would be a lot better.
Fair enough, fair enough. Actually, I'll go to my third question after that. Looking at the recent international events, Rift Rivals, MSI, kind of TL showed that they, as the top of the table team with the rest that went, that they're always a little bit better. What do you think the kind of current standings are between the teams in the LCS now that are still fighting for the top of the table?
Well, it's really hard. I think there are actually a lot of teams that are pretty good, and it shows because there's like always really insane ties for like first or like third place or something right now. I would say I can't really speak for like team strength, but in terms of like bot lane strength, I think CLG's bot lane is usually good, better than that, and I think TSM's bot lane is really strong as well. But unfortunately, it's not a super bot focused meta right now, so the top of the standings is kind of just what it is. I'd say it's like TSM, C9, us, CLG as well, and once in a while, I think Golden Guardians can be really good.
Right on. Sticking with strength, looking at how TL is doing, first place doesn't suck, but how does TL feel? You guys said you'd be a little slow ramping up this season, but are you guys hitting your kind of strong points as you want, making your way to playoffs?
I think early in the split, we were playing like way too carelessly, and then every single game that we lost, we basically did something really dumb and gave them the game, or we were just really ahead and we played too recklessly. And I feel like we were a bit scarred from international experience where people called our style like boring, and I mean it's not like like we listened to the community and we're like, yeah, they're totally right, but like we did realize like we play a little bit more slow than like the best teams in the world, you know, like G2. So we were really trying to kind of go for a lot more controlled aggression. For us, that means running it down. So I think we kind of need to slow down a little bit back to our usual selves. And that game was actually a terrible example because we should have closed really fast. We were really ahead. We were stomping the game, and we almost let them come back. So, yeah, gonna hear another mouthful from the coaches after that one. But we're doing our best to start playing a lot more seriously.
DoubleLift, thank you so much for that insight into the Liquid mindset. Congrats on the win over CLG and first place. Let's throw it back to the State Farm analyst desk to break that down.
Thank you very much, Riv. DoubleLift expecting more out of CLG in that contest for first place, but Team Liquid does reign supreme once again and will top the tables in our standings. Of course, there still is one other team that has the opportunity to tie them later today if Cloud9 can pick up that victory and move to 8-3 as well.
That feels pretty likely, given that they're playing against Echo Fox. Team Liquid had a tough.
How could you?
Hey, let's talk about Team Liquid. I don't want to talk about
Right,
that.
exactly.
Team Liquid had a relatively hard task this time around. The draft was a little interesting, where CLG has like total scaling on the bot half of the map with Azir and then Tahm, Kench, and Ezreal, not too much proactivity. And then the top half is literally the most proactive top side you can basically draft, which is Elise Renekton.
This is an old school duo.
Yeah.
We're talking LCS era for the two of you, Renekton and Elise, coming out on
It used
top.
to be this was the top lane where your top laner would just be like, please, dear God, ban one of these two because I cannot play the game. Or lane swap. Like one of those two.
No more.
We got to give so much credit to Impact on this lane because, yes, he died, but he found a way to come back with proper wave management. And when we looked at his level 1, something that not a lot of other Gangplanks do, he started barrels and then went W second. So he was actually having a lot of pressure here. And while he did get camp, it's still GP. You get more gold than your opponents per camp. So as long as you farm, you can do a whole lot. And he actually got to steal the Herald, which was a huge play in the mid game.
I mean, it's a testament on both sides of that conversation, right? That the duo itself is strong, being able to punish Impact, who is playing very well, into a lopsided matchup.
I think in this situation, like, everyone knows what's gonna happen. You see the Elise Renekton, they're gonna dive top. There's no doubt in my mind, everyone in the game, all 10 players knew, and just like who executes better, who's in the right spot at the right time. Xmithie did a great job on the first gank being up there, and Wiggily did a great job camping the top bush to get the second kill. And then I think everything was going fine, and then the disaster happened that Crumbs talked about.
Herald and Baron were the two big plays that lost CLG the game, flat out. They got stolen twice, actually. Both objectives got stolen, so it was really bad. And this is the first one where they're getting cute trying to sneak it, and then they realize, wait a minute, how do we get out if they catch us? And then they all kind of group up together. You lose the jungler, and from that point on, it's just free for TL. They leashed it for them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I know what CLG is going for. As much as we're talking about the game was close, it really wasn't. This was like a 5 or 6K gold deficit at this point, and they're kind of getting run over. So they go for a cute play of trying to sneak it, and they have ways out with the Elise repelling over to the blast cone and Azir being able to hop out if they get caught. So that's what they thought they were going to do, but Rakan has a great engage to follow them as they try and escape out. GP ult comes over the top. So I appreciated, like, hey, we're losing the game already. Let's try and find a sneaky play in. I have much more problem with what happened in the early game with this comp than that specific play, I think. Like that Rift Herald play.
Yeah. Huge damage numbers coming out of DoubleLift there on the Xayah, even there in the final fight while in the base, going pretty deep, kind of in a 1v2, 1v3 situation. But I do want to talk about Team Liquid and CLG. We'll jump to them in just a moment, but kind of this point that DoubleLift was talking about, you know, their learnings from Rift Rivals and, you know, how they've been kind of workshopping themselves into a place of, you know, controlled aggression. Where do they need to push more for advantages? What should they actually take from other regions? Because we've stated we're pretty comfortable with them continuing to refine their already laid out win conditions.
I think the issue in TL right now is the fact that you have a team that is clearly the best in NA. How do you improve when not a single scrim partner can challenge you to the way you can challenge yourself? So everywhere that they go, they're facing competition that is worse than them. So then they have to be a constant reminder, hey, you need to play this way. You know it's the best way, even though your opponents aren't challenging you. So it's a lot of mental stress, which is why he was vocal about the coaches are going to come down on us, because at least the coaches have to hold them accountable to the standards that they expect out of themselves.
I think a lot of it is like, I think the community feedback definitely got to them, right? Like, I hate watching Sonateric. Like, it's actually absurd. I don't like watching TL's like international stage games, because when I compare them to G2, like, this is a team that's like, I love this team. They do exactly what I want. Everyone's flexible, can play all the roles, all this stuff. And I watch TL, I'm like, oh, it's Sonateric again, come on. But like, to be honest, like, what if they're the best Sonateric in the world?
Right.
Even at Rift Rivals, 2 of the 3 teams had to literally ban them because they couldn't beat them. And they still beat G2 with their one game. So it's like, if they do become the best Sonateric team in the world and are flexible enough to force bans while still being able to play standard AD lanes like Xayah Rakan, which, by the way, we didn't mention, Xayah Rakan killed this game. Like, they murdered this game.
Yeah, the whole bot side of the map for TL, along with Xmithie, kind of aiding those two in the duo lane, definitely took off for Team Liquid here. I do want to jump over to CLG real quick before we go to break, just to talk about the success they found this split, because I think with the historical context of a struggling CLG, people could be quick to see this success and discount it as something that is either undeserved or is a fluke. But is it that?
I don't think it is. I mean, you played the best team in the league. It was relatively close. I mean, we talk about how the game was over at that Baron. It still took 15 more minutes to close out because they made it tough with Azir Ezreal, and they were able to find a number of picks, and they got an ace at one point with Rune popping off. So, like, this was still a relatively close game against, by far, the best North American team.
They're 1-1 against TL
too.
in their head-to-head for the regular season as well. Scar, I know you have some thoughts, though, on this CLG roster and the fact that they didn't necessarily luck their way into their current position.
You know, a lot of times I look at CLG and I look at their placing, their standing, and I'm like, they are way higher than they should be. And I think that maybe they got there like on luck or on strength of schedule. But here I think that they got there because their teamwork is actually good this season. I've not watched too many games. The CLG games I catch is really funny because I think actually, I thought Ruin was going to be superstar broken blade level, like lane dominant, flexible carry. But actually, he's, I think, a person who tends to lose lane more than you'd expect. But his teamwork with the team is great. And CLG became that like teamwork-oriented team that they always joked about. Everyone joked about them becoming. I feel like they're a team that's really well like put together now. They tend to synergize really well and come together for a lot of different plays. And it shows throughout the roster. Their team is better, even though individually, I don't even think Ruin is doing that well. Like, I just like how their team like works, if that makes sense.
CLG continuing to find themselves. Team Liquid, though, our reigning champs from a spring split, continue to impress and find themselves in first place. On the other side, Golden Guardians and FlyQuest duke it out in Game 3. You won't want to miss it.
Now, can you like? Now you guys can we like ward for the game?
Can we like use awards?
Yeah. This is like a foreign concept.
It's going to be a 2 versus 2. CLG coming in, looking to find the damage, almost able to grab it. Wiggly's able to grab himself the first blood. Ruin gets himself away, but the turret's going to take him down. CLG, there's no way you can continue this. It has to be disengaged as CoreJJ is going in, and now it's trouble for CLG.
Nice. You can go.
Just kill him. This is best chance.
Yeah. Play with Azir.
Help Azir. Kill Jarvan.
Yeah. Dude, you guys
We're gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, you guys know it. Help.
Jarvan.
Yeah, you got him.
Hide. Get running. Kill Lecter. Just kill Lecter. Yeah. I'm dead. Out. Okay. Get running.
Biofrost gobbles him away, but still going to be in some trouble. Stixxay's chased down by Devils, who goes deep into enemy territory. A double kill over to him. And